Hello and hi everyone. Today we will be looking at things that you need to include in chapter 5 together with chapter 4 and also conclusion and recommendations for your FYP submission. We will also look into some of the things that you might have overlooked so you can make necessary adjustments to your paper. Alright, so please check. Across the board, the information that you put together in your FYP, they have to be clear to a point where what you state in chapter 4 are also mentioned in chapter 5 as well as conclusion and recommendation. So there should be a coherence between all these chapters so that people can easily follow your thought process, what you say and what you discuss in your paper, from the beginning until the end. Right? This is why it is also very important for you to pay close attention to individual summary sections in all chapters from chapter 1 until chapter 5. And this info in this summary section will actually be brought forward to the next chapter. And also please bear in mind that our focus is the research questions and research objectives. You need to always pay attention to this, and these are the things that we will basically look at from one chapter to another. It is very important, or else people can see that there is a disconnect or some info are not discussed clearly, right? So if you can see here, chapter 4 basically only talks about description of findings and presentation of data. Chapter 5 is basically the discussions of reasons, causes and factors for the summary mentioned in chapter 5, which is basically is the outcome of chapter 4. And the conclusion basically comes from chapter 4 and chapter 5. Conclusion, we are going to basically discuss the findings based on our research questions. Recommendation is basically should be is the recommendations are basically suggestions for persons, organizations or agencies directly. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the things that you need to include in your chapter 4. Alright, so basically you can see here there are basically 4 items you need to remember. The first one is the introduction, which includes the research questions. Second one is the analysis of the findings. To answer research questions, the third one is commentary of the data, interpretation of the data, with attention drawn to particular interesting or noteworthy aspects. And the last one is the conclusion to chapter 4 or summary. Right, don't forget about that summary is compulsory. This is the info actually that you will bring to chapter 5. All right, now for chapter 5, essentially these are the general headings for chapter 5 for your reference. All right, we have 5.0 all the way until 5.5, which is the chapter summary. All right, so basically these are the elements or items for you to remember to include or incorporate in your chapter 5. There are 6 items. Number 1 is introduction. Second one is the research overview, which is the summary of main findings. The third one is the discussion, comparison with findings of studies reported in chapter 2, and provide explanations for the findings of the study. The third one is the implications of the findings, right? How the findings can be used in different settings, relate to the significance of the study in chapter 1, and then recommendations or directions for further research, as well as conclusion to chapter 5. All right, there you have it, the summary and criteria for chapter 4, 5, as well as recommendation and conclusion, right, for your reference. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you very much.